From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here on a Monday. I hope you had a good weekend, and we're kicking off our work week here, I think, with a show that I think all of us could probably learn something from this morning. As always, we're going to put the phone number up there, and you're invited to call and join in the conversation, 737+. We're talking this morning about healthy living. You know, we do programs like this periodically where we kind of get into the basics of diet, health, and, you know, if you're dealing with some condition, you know, that maybe you're wondering about whether or not what you're eating is playing a role in it or how much exercise you can or can't do, give us a call this morning. We're going to jump into it this morning with our guest, who is a health coach. I mean, it covers an awful lot of ground there, but she's got a good background to answer your questions. Diane Darmon, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Nice to have you on.
Thank you.
I know you go on Open Line a lot with Rory, and it's nice of you to get up so early to join us today. And, you know, it's like I said, where do you start with, you know, health and healthy eating? A lot of people pay more attention to this during the summer months simply because, you know, we're out more, we're wearing less clothes, you want to look more fit. And if you would, give some folks just a little bit about background about you again. I always like to start the show that way, about what got you into this field and how you transitioned from more or less a corporate engineering job to this.
Right. Well, I am a health and weight loss coach. I started Coach D Consulting about 4 years ago, but my background is actually very technical. I was in corporate engineering. I have a civil engineering degree. But what started it all was I was very athletic growing up and played a lot of sports, but was always a little overweight and very self-conscious.
I find it hard to believe you were ever overweight.
Well, I was. And actually, when I went to college, I lost about 50 pounds in college. So I was very overweight as a teenager. But when I went to college to play softball. And once I quit softball, I found kind of this whole new lifestyle, and it was not quick. You know, my motto is don't diet, live it. I tried some diets, didn't work. I would always kind of, you know, maybe lose 5 pounds, gain 10, and so so it took me a couple of years, but I eventually lost 50 pounds and became much healthier. And I found out it was through, you know, lifestyle changes. It wasn't through, you know, taking a huge step. It was just daily, you know, weekly small steps.
That's exactly it. How long did it take for you to lose the 50 pounds?
I would probably say a good 2 to 3 years.
Right.
I started
and that's why it stayed off.
And the first, I mean, obviously, you know, when you're overweight, the first few pounds are going to come off quicker. So I probably lost 20 pounds fairly quick in that first year or so, 6 months. I probably lost it quick. And then probably by the time I graduated college, I was completely. I'm still at the same weight now, basically, that I was when I graduated.
Amazing. Well, your book, which is out, Don't Diet, Live It, is what your motto is. And that makes perfect sense. It is so true. You know, and I've never really been into the diets, like you just said. I mean, I guess we all try something one way or the other. And over the 3-year period, it's interesting. You'll lose that weight. My brother's going through this right now, where he lost the 20 pounds pretty quickly. Okay, everyone's like, wow, what's wrong? And then you hit that plateau, I guess. But if you stick with it for 3 years, all of a sudden you'll notice yourself losing weight in places you aren't even thinking about, like in your thighs, your knees, your feet get smaller. It seems like. But that takes a long time to get those certain parts of your body that don't lose it right off the bat, right?
And you don't want to. The quicker you lose it, if you lose it very, very quickly, you will lose muscle mass as well, which is not good. So you want to kind of take it quick. And the thing too is, in order for it to become a habit, you've got to take small steps. So, you know, I usually have weekly goals with my clients. Like, well, I'll say, okay, let's have a weekly goal this week, and you make a small step. And then once that kind of becomes a habit, then you add on a little bit. Because if you go all or nothing, it's probably not going to work. That's why usually New Year's resolutions fail before Valentine's Day, because it's there. You know, the restrictions are too high, and the expectations are too high, and the limitations are too low, and you know, you just eventually you say, you know, I'm going to do all of this all at once, and then you get frustrated and you quit completely. Yeah,
if you don't change, this is what we need to get into. 737-7587 is the number. And we don't have to just talk about dieting. Many of us are interested in nutrition, and she can talk about that as well beyond it if you don't have a weight issue. But part of the problem is we are bombarded commercially with all kinds of this latest drink or this pill or this exercise routine. And every summer, and we're not going to name any of these specific businesses, but we can talk about I'll be going through a grocery store and I'll see these new drinks and they'll be like, blueberry pomegranate crush and it's going to get you going or whatever, at a lot of these restaurants. And it sounds really good, and it's like, oh, this will be a nutritional health drink. All right, how should you look at these things and how do you determine if it's really healthy or not? The
FDA does not regulate any claims, like front claims. The buzzword right now especially is all natural.
Okay.
Well, you can say, natural is a word that is not regulated by the FDA.
Right.
So, if somebody says, well, you're a jerk, somebody could say naturally. Well, naturally is just not a word that is regulated very well.
Oh.
So, on the front it could say all natural, but on the back, if you look, a lot of times something that says all natural or made with all fruit or made with something, if you look, the very first ingredient could be sugar.
Yeah.
And sugar is natural, but it's highly processed, and it, just because it's natural doesn't mean that it's healthy for you.
And now, what you say too is a lot of these taste great, they look good, and you think, okay, well, it's got the fruit in there, but then you look at the grams of sugar. All right, and some of these have maybe over 100 grams of sugar in a bottle, which most bottles don't come in just one serving. They don't say that, but drinking the whole bottle is 2 servings, and it's got 100 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
How much is that? That's more than you need in how many days?
4 days. There's some smoothies out there that if you drink one smoothie, it will have 4 days worth of sugar. And usually what's unfortunate also is a lot of times the smoothie you think of as a snack or like an addition to a meal. So you will have had 4 days worth of sugar and not even, your brain doesn't even really recognize it because you're drinking it.
Sure. Well, what is it that's so bad about just processed sugar? What does it do literally? If you're having that every day and you're supersizing your Cokes and all this kind of stuff, you're not going diet or water or tea, what does that much sugar do to you? Well,
there's 2 things basically. One is just the calories. It's just empty calories for the most part. So yeah, it's going to add on weight that you don't necessarily need. But beyond that, it's things like this that are making people diabetic. They're giving themselves type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
So because there's that, your blood sugar rises and then the insulin levels, and it's that constant high blood sugar that gives you type 2 diabetes.
I just hear, and we're going to take a call before we go break. When it comes to things that are white, there's only a couple white things you should even bother eating, right? And that would be, cauliflower?
Yeah, cauliflower.
You can eat cauliflower. Yeah. Children certainly. Milk, I guess, milk is good, but I'm trying to think, most white things you don't want to eat. White bread? Probably not. It's processed. What other white things don't you want to eat? You don't want to eat white sugar.
I don't. I try not to. No, you should eat brown rice.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right.
I try not to demonize potatoes, white potatoes.
Okay.
Usually, the thing is their preparation that makes them bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can. For holidays, and there's actually in my book there's a recipe for smashed potatoes, and I get new potatoes, leave the skin on, smash them with a little bit of Greek yogurt, and that's okay. Healthy
it's
for
usually
you.
What people put on their potatoes.
Potatoes are usually fried or mashed with butter or have sour cream and bacon and all that kind of stuff. So, but white potatoes aren't in and of themselves. They've got a lot of vitamins, but when you deep fry them, it.
Exactly, but I'm glad you mentioned potatoes. If properly prepared, maybe that's one you could do. But other than that, most white stuff you want to stay away from. Listen, before we take our first break, let's squeeze in a call or two. Let's go to Greg. Greg, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Greg, go ahead, buddy. What's on your mind?
Hey, one thing what I've done that works really good is I've just stopped eating any kind of fast food whatsoever. McDonald's, Burger King, Crystal, all that. That food has absolutely no nutritional value, but it has flavor.
Yeah.
And I've come to realize that, all these foods that are on the shelves, these soups and stuff with low sodium and no fat, they have no flavor whatsoever. So you're kind of being driven to eat food like McDonald's and Burger King that has flavor, but it has no nutritional value. So that is a huge thing that people could do, is get detoxified from all these preservatives and all these things. I just heard a story this morning that China's been selling tainted meat and food to McDonald's and Burger Kings and all these places that we're eating at. So I think the biggest thing would be to stop eating any fast foods whatsoever.
I'm with you, man.
And I think, honestly, anytime you eat, whether it's fast food or at a restaurant, and nowadays, especially restaurants, sit-down type restaurants, are doing better about their ingredients, and you can always ask for something without butter. But when you're eating out at a restaurant, you just never know what's being put into it. A lot of times, steamed vegetables still have a lot of added butter and salt. But yeah, and it's amazing how and he says flavor and taste. I make a lot of things for, I'll do events with kids, and it's amazing how the taste of something that's not processed is so much better. I mean, like, you think it tastes good, but until you really taste something that's just very little processed, been maybe just stuck on a grill, like a pineapple on a grill with a little bit of Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
It tastes amazing, and especially as long as you're eating seasonally, tomatoes right now are going to be taste very, very good. Corn is going to taste very, very good. Eat seasonally, because that's not only when it has the most flavor, but when it'll be most affordable as well.
Oh yeah.
So.
But isn't he right too? I've heard, and I'll go through a fast food place every once in a while. I have a son who likes a burger once in a while, and frankly, I don't care. If he wants to eat it, that's fine. But I see the lines and the people buying this stuff, and someone told me once that, if you're just insistent on eating at fast food places a few times a week, which is too much probably, if you would just cut out your sugar soda alone, and just keep eating on. If you still have your fries and your burger, but at least you cut out that sugar soda alone, that is going to help you lose weight.
Yeah, I would always order water, and I always tell my clients, if you're going to, and it's not, salad is not, we talked about this on Open Line the other day, salad is not always the best choice.
Right, we'll get into that.
But if you order from like the kids menu or get small, don't supersize everything. And honestly, the serving size, that's way too much. He mentioned China, that's bad what they're doing, but people in China, France, Italy, a lot of those where food is associated in a lot of those places, we are much more an obese nation than they are, just because of the way they see food and their portion sizes. Our portion sizes are huge.
We're a rich country, and this whole super size is ridiculous. Anyway, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, if you're on hold, stay there. Give us a call if you want, 737-7587. I liked Greg's call, his take on what he's doing. What are you doing, or what works for you when it comes to some of your food dietary habits? And not just for weight loss, but eating to be healthy and all of that. We'll get into that, and we'll get into a lot more of these issues this morning with our health and weight loss coach right after this. Stay with us.